Well, hey there. Welcome to April 4th, 2022. Ooh, I'm a little tired. I'm Kurt. I'm also Kurt. And this is my daily good life meditation, an examination of my life objectives and principles, and then a check-in to see how I'm doing, applying these to yesterday and the coming day. First, last night. I, again, was awake last night. We know the pattern. It's related to work. And I definitely woke up thinking about two issues at work that I need to address. Things that in a few years' time I won't even remember what they are, but which now seem so important. Here come the dogs. And it's interesting because I was talking to some former coworkers over the weekend, talking about, they were mentioning about how they're thinking about their work, their Monday to come, which is now today. So I was up in earnest. I mean, there's degrees of being awake, right? And I recall it when I woke up out of sleep into a mild consciousness, and then suddenly, snap! I remembered the first issue, and I knew then that I was finished. That was probably 4 a.m., and I laid there with my eyes closed in bed for an hour, waiting for the alarm to go off for 5 a.m. so I could get started. And even though I went to bed at my proper time, that loss of an hour of full sleep really hit me. I feel it now. Today's going to be a work day. What else, right? But that which must be born, right? That which must be carried. This is the treadmill that I'm on. Hopefully not for too many more years. We'll see. Otherwise, yesterday was a good day. It was the kind of day that I wish I'd had more free time. You know, sometimes weekends just feel like they're, you know, you earn all week and spend all weekend. Again, that, and I swear to gosh, it seems like it's and I'm certainly not the first to consider or observe this. Sure does seem like it's a trap of sorts, right? And after college, luring us to career, to home, to family, and then to the process. And I remember so distinctly the various allure of each age, you know, the allure of, after college to begin to build something of our own, a home, and then the allure of a society of friends, and then the socializing, and then the allure of family, and then for some of us the allure of career, not necessarily me. For me, work has always just been a means to an end. And then is likewise now an allure to retirement? Is that just another one? I bet it is. And then at the end, you realize you come across the finish line, so to speak, of sorts, and you realize that we just spent our time. We just spent ourselves keeping the system moving. I mean, again, not a new or original idea in any way, but one that it's easy to forget until you find yourself amongst it. Now, the question is, what other alternative, right? I mean, there are those who don't step into this machine and participate. And even though it wears me out, and even though the machine exhausts me, think I mentioned in my book, Going Alone, maybe twice, the concept of the machine. Even though that's the case, I don't know that there's a better alternative. I have a feeling that this is the path that ultimately leads to our ability to pass, to end when our lives come to an end, if we have time to think about it, or capability to think about it. This is the path of greatest satisfaction, namely because it's the path that leads to getting our genes into the next generation, so that we can kind of die knowing that it all doesn't die with us, that the generation, another generation continues. Children go on. There's something really significant in that. Really worthwhile. Maybe the only thing really worthwhile. So yeah. I keep on the hamster wheel. It's run, 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 run. Pace, pace, pace. Shoom, 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 shoom. Getting up and tossing around in an hour and a half, 2 hours before the alarm goes off, for things that I won't even remember a year from now, or even 6 months from now, maybe. But it's a worthwhile thing. It raises my daughter, gets her through college, gets her out into the world as a safe, humane, sound, reasonable human being. So yeah, it's a worthwhile hamster wheel. Let's do the Good Life meditation. 7 objectives and 30 principles as follows. 1, to be always ready to die. 2, to make good and effective use of my time. 3, to develop and maintain good and sound life principles. 4, to cultivate good emotional reactions. 5, to perform good actions. 6, to recognize true limits and true opportunity. And 7, to do just one thing at a time, and to do that thing slowly. Those are the things that I'm striving for. That's the life that I want to live. It's interesting how family isn't a part of that. I never thought of that before. Family isn't an objective. I guess it's assumed. Well, I guess it is assumed, because one of my principles is my principle of purpose. The first principle, there's 3, is biology, which is the which is the procreation and having children and carrying on the species. So it's my first principle. So I guess it doesn't have to be an objective. It's an assumed step. It's an assumed part of life. That's why it's not included as an objective. All right, the 30 principles are: number 1, the principle of war. To always fight against what I think is true, so that I can discover if I'm wrong. 2, the principle of reason, and the sub-principles of honesty, objectivity, and doubt, which I use to discover where I'm wrong. 3, the homunculus, the reminder that though I do not have a soul, I do have a consciousness. 4, the Anchorhold, the idea that my homunculus, my consciousness, is trapped within me. So is yours. And they can never really connect. All they can do is, shout across one another. Each of us is quite alone. Next is the home of good and evil. Our ideas of what constitute right and wrong are just impressions in our head, opinions, subjective at core. Next comes the principle of purpose, which I mentioned earlier, and the 3 sub-principles of biology, virtue, and mission. Biology being having children, passing our genes along into the next generation, raising those children until they're able to stand on their own 2 feet, and then still being there for them. It's a lifelong commitment. Virtue being a man or woman of who's seeking after the improvement of the well-being of others, particularly those who are capable of, thinking. And then a mission, to pursue whatever mission we choose to take on in life. For me, it's the sharing of the Good Life Creed, outlined in my book, Going Alone. Next comes the atomic principle. Everything is made of bits and pieces. And then the principle of nature. Everything has some particular nature, and it's good to remember what that is. It's the nature of Mondays, to be Mondays. And then pirate ride. Free will is an illusion. We can seemingly make any choice we want, although there's so many forces pushing us, jostling us towards a particular decision that in the end we likely have no choice other than to make the choices that we do make, even though they feel like they're our own. And I can't prove this. I hold it as a position of faith. See, I can have faith too. Though I hate it. I hate the fact that I hold a position on faith. It seems true to me. Compellingly true. Next is oh boy, I'm tired. I needed that extra hour of sleep. Maturity, and the sub-principles of wisdom and fortitude. And then the social principle. We human beings are social animals who need one another. And then public speaking. To use few words, deliberate words, carefully chosen words. And to never gossip. Temperance. To control my consumption of life. To recognize that denying myself what I want sometimes entails some suffering of a sort. And that a simple life is a temperate life. And that if I can recognize what is outside my control, then I can temper my response, my sense of responsibility for that. And then the next principle is called the horror show. Life is a terribly awful horror show sometimes. We're here. We can try to do something about it while we're here. And then after the horror show comes that which must be borne. And what we have to bear is the awfulness of life sometimes, as well as our responsibilities. And then the Feast of Offal, which is a reminder to keep it within myself, to not get unduly upset in public, or even in private, but to find better ways to digest and to disperse my emotions, my upset, and to not burden others with that. then distraction. We spend our lives trying to not see the next principle, which is the great indifference, the emptiness of the universe, a universe without God. We don't want to see that. A lot of us don't. So we tell ourselves there is a God, and we tell ourselves we've got a busy life, and we've got pleasurable hobbies, things to do, or even dramas to engage in, issues, challenges, busyness, all of it, so that we can keep our focus and not see that big universe, that big empty universe out there. Next is the best seat in the house, to try to be okay and satisfied with where I am, who I am, and what I'm doing right now. Then comes the Path of Wildness, which is a way forward into new life. It's a challenging way to go. Then comes the risk of avoiding risk, remembering that life has surface level risks: education, career, family, home, retirement. We need to address those things. There's also a deep, deep risk of, as the hippies would say, finding ourselves, which is important if we feel compelled and driven to do so. If you don't, then maybe you're one of the lucky ones. Next comes sin and damnation. The 8 sins in my worldview are falsity, credulity, hope, faith, superstition, dogma, authority, and gossip. And indulging in any of those things leads us to being damned in the here and now. The next principle is complete oblivion. Since I maintain that there is no afterlife, that's what I believe. That means that there will be no opportunity after death to reconnect with those who we left, who death caused us to part from life. And if we can't reunite with anybody, then we can't reconcile. And if we can't be with others, there's no way to apply justice. So in a universe without God, in a universe without an afterlife, and in a condition where human beings are nothing more than kind of bags of complex chemical reactions. No soul in here. The best we get is our consciousness, which only glimmers and sparks and sputters for the brief years that we're alive. The next principle is the great life adventure. To have one or more experiences in life that kind of form the centerpiece of our living, become our story. And then after that, the season of philosophy. Time to record what we've learned along the way. Speaking of which, I found something in the book yesterday relative to the season of philosophy, the book I'm reading, called The Life of Samuel Johnson. I need to add it to the manuscript. Note to self. Put a little asterisk here. I might forget otherwise, but I will see. If I forget, I'll go, why did I put that asterisk there? Next comes the bullseye aim, or striving for the mark and usually missing. Striving nonetheless. And then the uphill climb. A reminder to continue to trudge. Through all the trudging, we are gaining altitude. If I stop for a minute and turn around and look, it's quite a vista. And the next principle is arena and utility. Life is an arena for the pursuit of our objectives and through the utilization of our principles. Next is one thing, or nothing is enough. Maybe one thing's enough. Just a reminder to pursue a simple life. I thought I could get through without yawning. So tired. And then finally, the principle of fun. Reminder to have a good time, which I never remember. Maybe one of these days. So much serious stuff in my life. Seemingly serious. Okay, I made it through. Boy, am I tired. Now, forecast for the day. I only have 2 meetings today, but I have some important stuff, those 2 issues that I need to work on. Plus, it's going to be a full day. It'll be a good day. Oh, I need to do that. All right, let's do this day. I'll have another cup of coffee and really get myself going. Whew, man, I'm so tired. Okay, be safe, but not too safe. And stay awake. Bye-bye.